So Council, we're back up, and our Committee of the Whole, we are back up. Thank you for that. Hopefully everyone had a good lunch. There wasn't too much of a lineup at the drive-through in your kitchen. And thank you for this morning. Obviously a difficult time for all of us to work our way through budgeting and numbers, but that's democracy, I guess, at the end of the day. We had two other resolutions. And Councillor Jaglowitz, maybe I'll let you introduce the next one. Item 6A was a notice of motion that will be considered for today. Councillor Jaglowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is in regards to basically one of the council's policy C-FS-01, and its latest revision is February the 17th, 2017. And the last sentence of that policy states, this policy will be reviewed annually by administration with any changes being recommended to Township Council for approval. So that governs the way budgeting takes place, and it's supposed to be reviewed annually. So to that end, the CAO began that review in the fall of last year, which actually started with a draft revised document dated October 17, 2019, which I don't think any of you have seen. I was part of that discussion, but it was never finalized because of the events that you're all aware that followed that in the fall of last year. So I'm requesting that staff come forward with recommended changes to council before the next budget cycle, which I believe should start in a few months. I also ask that comments that we've all received from the public on this budget cycle be considered as part of that review. And I also hope to be involved if appropriate. So in my view, this review should deal with several things among others. One is the annual tax increase rate. In other words, if we want to establish some formula for staff to deal with. Secondly, do a deep dive into the reserves and capital financing so that we actually know what's in there and how we're going to fund it. And of course, make recommendations. And the last is to talk about a procedure for review by committee. And there's been a lot of calls for a committee and public input, and therefore part of this review could deal with the appropriate way to deal with that. So I would ask for your support on this motion.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other comments on the motion? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think the other thing that we all look forward to is when we fill our vacancy for our Director of Finance, Treasurer, that they obviously would be keenly involved in development of the policy. So this resolution is moved by Councillor Jaglowitz, seconded by Councillor Nishikawa. Be it resolved that the Committee of the Whole recommended Township Council that staff are hereby directed to review and provide a council recommended revisions to policy C-CIO4, Directive on Financial Planning and Budgeting, as well as C-FS-01, Budget Guideline Principles, prior to Council's consideration of the 2021 operating capital budget and forecast. Any further comments? All those in favor? That is carried unanimously. Madam Clerk, you're good with that? Thank you. Next item of business, I believe, is Councillor Zavitz. Councillor Zavitz.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is an easy one. Certainly, I would have brought it forward had it not been on my email yesterday, as it is to it, but would appear to be all of Ontario municipalities. I certainly know I would have 100% consensus with the idea that internet, we've just realized now, it's come crashing down on everyone how vital the internet access is to all of our constituents. So many people do not have access. They also don't have availability to newspapers. Those are becoming less and less. It's just a vital way of communication. If we don't communicate, we can't get people out of harm's way or inform them of danger. Not only danger, information. How is our township doing? What's happening? And so I certainly would seek your support for this resolution to join in with all the other municipalities to implore our federal, provincial, and municipal officers to support internet in a much more fulsome manner and perhaps across this country. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kelley, did you want to comment as well? You're the seconder on the motion. You're okay. Thank you. And I'll just comment. I encourage you, I know Councillor Bridgman has been to, and Councillor Jaglowitz, Councillor Hayes as well, some of our, and Nishikawa, to some of our AMO events or Roma conferences. And there are regularly updates. There's no question, both the provincial and the federal governments are aware of holes in rural broadband that they need to be increased, but there's no harm in re-emphasizing the message. So this resolution is moved by Councillor Zavitz, second by Councillor Kelley. Be resolved, the Committee of the Whole recommended Township Council that the Township of Muskoka Lake supports the April 28, 2020 Township of Armor Resolution number 6 in support of the need to make substantial investments in high-speed internet connectivity in rural areas, and further that this resolution be circulated to MP Scott Aitchison, Parry Sound, Muskoka, MPP Norm Miller, Parry Sound, Muskoka, and all other municipalities of the District Municipality of Muskoka. Any further comments? All those in favor? That is carried unanimously. Madam Clerk, you good with that? Thank you. Okay, it is 2:14. So I have a resolution moved by Councillor Roberts, second by Councillor Nishikawa. Be it resolved, the Committee of the Whole in closed session convene at 2:14 p.m. for personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees and labor relations or employees negotiations. One matter pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001. All those in favor? Thank you very much. That's carried. For those watching on YouTube, thank you. I think I don't believe we have